Why? 6 minutes until the show starts. I'm going to loop this song until the show starts. So prepare to hear the same song over and over again. Over and over and over again. Here we go. Yo, what's up, y'all? It's the R9cast, the official Blind Dish Show, Cook on Chris Show, Super Dope Show for Festival9.com, representing AllGames.com, representing ElectronBandit.com. Go there, check out all my stuffs. I really like this track. I just made it I think I started it yesterday or day before yesterday. I don't remember. I only worked on it for a couple days. And it's for a trailer for the game. We have to do a new trailer because our trailer's like a year old and it's not good. And it's not up to our standards. I would say that. Not good, but I just messed up. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so we needed to do a new trailer, and I'm like, yeah, let's do a new trailer. And then so I was like, I need a super hype beat, son. And that's what I think I'm gonna call it Mission Accomplished. That's the sample I used in it. So I was like, the voice sample. I don't use any music samples, but I think I'm gonna get Sheena to say some more stuff in the game in general and for this. But I have to see. I think the video. I think the trailer is supposed to be due in like 2 days, 3 days, 2 days, on the 11th. So I'm like, oops. I don't know if I have time because I have to edit it. I don't even have the footage yet. So it's whatever. We'll see. I have a meeting tomorrow, so we'll see what that's about. But still, regardless, we still need a new trailer. So that's the thing. And I can stop that now. Stop that now. There. Hi everyone. Hi. Still don't have a green screen because I haven't broken down the set yet that I'm doing the video for. I have about maybe, I don't know, 15 seconds worth of background plates that I need to do before I can get all the green screen stuff. So basically what I'm doing is kind of, I'm doing it in my head. I haven't storyboarded anything. Everything is in my head, right? So I'm going chronologically up to a point, but then I did the ending already, but now I'm jumping back to another part in the song. And so I'm chronologically going, and I'm going to boop. Okay, I need that. And then the next shot, okay, he's going to do this. And then the next shot is, okay, the camera's going to be here, and it's going to be blah, looking at this. And then that's why I'm doing it. So I'm doing all the background shot, camera movements, and all that stuff first, because it takes time to render each of those, because it's all rendering. Aloha, legend. Hope everything's good down by you. And that's what I'm doing. I appreciate all of the delicious meats that you send through Instagram. I definitely appreciate. God, dog out, slobber on it. Billy, okay, how are you, guy? I appreciate you coming through. I hope everything's good with you. Also, give us more books. I think America needs to read more after the last, you know what I'm going to say. Billy says, you keep saying next gen, but all I see is an Xbox. More books. Good. Please be on it. What do you mean, Xbox? What are you talking about? The next, I got you. I'm a little slow. I'm in Florida. Been here for a while. And there's a storm a brewing. I mean, there's an actual storm. It's just like the giant feeder bands of Eta, whatever the storm's name was that went through where'd it go? I don't even remember. South America. And then so we're just getting windy rains and stuff. No thunder, no nothing. It's all good. The dogs aren't even freaking out. That's how whack. I mean, I take the dogs out and they're like, oh no, rain and wind. And I'm like, y'all. I was like, nope, go, nope. They were like, but it's raining. I was like, nope. And they're like, okay. And then they did it because, that's how it works. Sub Opti, preach. Yeah, be safe, please. Thank you, Billy. I'm not worried about wind and rain now. I ain't worried. Bridget's more worried than I about, there might be some angry people out there. There's always angry people. I was angry for a while. I feel better as the title of this show dictates or says, whatever. I feel better. Was that Return of the Jedi? I don't remember. No, it wasn't. Who said that? Was it Harrison Ford? No, I don't see my brain. Anyway, angry people. I was angry. Not as angry. I'm not as angry as I was in past shows previously. But now there are gonna be angry people. I'll have to deal with those emojis. These emojis. Appreciate. I appreciate. I mean, we can talk about next gen stuff if you wanna. I mean, I don't think there is that much to talk about, honestly. Xbox is coming out Tuesday in a day, basically, because today's already over, basically. So in a day, 24 plus however many hours is 5 hours, 29 hours, or 28 hours and 54 minutes if you want to be exact. That's not really true. It's fine. Am I gonna get one? Bridget said, "Oh, it's your birthday, baby." Actually, Xbox releases on my birthday, so I'm like, "Yo, this is like, I mean, Microsoft's gonna send me one, right? They know everybody's birthday. They rule the world, so they're gonna send me automatically because it's my birthday, right? No, it's not gonna happen." And I put like a little cute whatchamacallit, tweet to I think it was Jason Ronald and I think Phil Spencer. But I didn't do that. I just retweeted one of Jason Ronald's tweets, and I didn't tag anybody in it because I feel weird kind of asking for that. You know what I mean? Even though I'm like, money's always tight. When I think about it, I'm like, all right, should I spend $500 plus tax on this thing? I don't need it. But I want it. What I need is a better computer, but I'm not buying a new computer now. I'm not going to build a new computer now because ridiculous price. The PC industry right now is out of the damn mind. I'm looking at prices. I'm like, yeah, I mean, the new stuff's coming out. I'm like, yo, that Ryzen 5, son. I'm good with that. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get the Radeon 5792, whatever the word, 6,000. I don't know. I'm going to get the good stuff. Well, I'm going to get the affordable, but not crazy. You know what? I might splurge. I might get the best Radeon joint. I don't know. I'll think about it. I will strive to get the best and probably have to step back. But the point is, prices right now is ridiculous. The market's ridiculous. I have to wait. I do not want buyer's remorse for all those fools who went out and bought 3990s or whatever, the Nvidia cards, 3080, 3080s, 3080, and then, a couple weeks later, AMD is like, boom, better performance, kind of, sort of, cheaper price by hundreds of dollars, and they're looking like fools now, and I'm like, see, I mean, you'd be a fan. Like, we talk about these console war stuff, right? But, dude, the AMD versus NVIDIA stuff is ridiculous. Just like a Tiger Claw, he's like, Intel, grr. I'm like, all right. I mean, they getting spanked right now, Tiger Claw. I'm just saying, don't be too hardcore on your team, son. But you can, that's your right. Opti says, biggest Xbox and Microsoft didn't send you, biggest Xbot and Microsoft didn't send you an Xbox Series X. What in the world? Below K says, even SG is like, I want it. No, I do want it. I just don't need it. Legend says, this is the first time I may not be able to get a console within a week of it coming out. Honestly, I just hope I can get one before Christmas. Opti says, Radeon over NVIDIA. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a Radeon card over NVIDIA. I want it I'm not playing games. I don't play games on PC. I can. Like, my setup right now is basically a Xbox One X. It's actually a little bit better. It's a little bit better and a little bit. You know how PCs are. You could tweak it, make it. like I can run Sea of Thieves on this PC at 60 frames per second, right? I can't do that on the One X. It won't do it. Won't do it. So I think with that. I think that's more of a lack of options as far as settings go on the Xbox rather than it being more the X. I think the Xbox is still more powerful by a smidgen than my PC, but actually I got 8 gigs of VRAM plus I got 16, so it has way more RAM. So yeah, my PC is better. Anyway, I am looking at price per performance, right? So I'm looking at these cards, I'm looking at these CPUs, and I'm like, all Nvidia stuff is more expensive. Granted, like I think one card is $50 more or something, right? But then they're showing the comparisons and like, okay, one game doesn't perform as good as Nvidia's card, but everything else, Radeon is better as far as frames per second, same settings and all that stuff. I'm like, and they're cheaper, and I'm like, even though I don't care about the games, and it really is about price per performance, but I know that Nvidia, I believe, performs better. It's mainly for rendering videos, and it's also rendering CG in Blender. I believe Nvidia is actually better for rendering in Blender because I think they have some kind of connection with the Blender organization, blender.org, and so I think they have like a plugin or something, or what was it? It's a denoising. There's certain benefits of having an Nvidia card. There's like built-in denoising and all that stuff, blah blah blah, and it makes it's like, I mean, you know what? I saw a video of this dude. He was rendering some stuff. He was like he's a Maya guy. He's like, oh, I'm a Maya, but I'm messing with Blender, right? And so he went and he was like, let's render this stuff, and it was a bunch of kind of default files that Blender, like the Blender community do, and he had a 3090, and he was doing it, and they like boom so quick, like a second, and it was like it wasn't like he wasn't rendering it per se, but he was in the quote unquote live mode. So it's a render when you're in the viewport, you put it on render mode, and it renders whatever you're looking at, basically, as what the final render would be. Normally it takes time for it to populate all the correct pixels and light bounces and all this stuff, because he's using cycles, and cycles is ray tracing, blah blah blah, path tracing to be exact, which is better than just saying ray tracing. Is path tracing, which is like that Pixar stuff. And that thing was snapping in so quick, and I was like, oh man. I was like, yo, if I had all the money, son, yes, 3090 I would get it all day long, because that sold it. I was like, I didn't care about games. Nah. I mean, that thing came in so quick. I was like, yo, I could render so many good things so quickly. The main thing about how I'm doing stuff right now is that it takes so long to render. And so if there's one little mistake in the render, depending on how long it is, I have to go back and render. Well, actually, I don't have to go back and render everything, because there's a way to, if you select, where the mistake is, as far as like maybe there's maybe the camera dipped below geometry and it clipped the geometry, or maybe it's too close to a texture and it I'm using a screen space reflection global illumination, SSGI, and it's not real SSGI, which emulates ray tracing, because I can do ray tracing if I render in cycles, but I render in Eevee because it's just faster. I can render in Eevee. I was doing like, half a second or 7 seconds, depending on the actual frame, versus cycles, which is like, a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on the frame. So I'm like, there's no comparison. I'd rather render in Eevee, save 1,000% of the time, and have a smidgen lower quality. But I ain't gonna lie, rendering it in cycles, which is ray tracing, which is, I'm getting to a point. Rendering in cycles makes everything look so good. Everything looks so good with ray tracing. That takes me to current gen, well, next gen in a day or two. Next gen starts on Tuesday, by the way. And ray tracing is important for that next gen type of look, and I'm gonna say look. Spider-Man Miles Morales is a perfect example. All the ponies are like, oh my god, look at them reflections, look, it looks so good. And it looks good, yes, it does, of course. Because Insomniac is good at making the games look good. It got, what did it get, 85 or 83 on Metacritic, which is a little low. I expect it to be higher than mid B's, but you know, what are you gonna do? And that's supposed to be the game. That's supposed to be the biggest launch title, right? I don't count Demon Souls. Nope. Sorry. It looks good, but ain't no ray tracing Demon Souls. Nope. Get out of here. Get out here, last gen. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that Demon Souls will come out for PS4 later next 2021 or late at a later date. I'm saying that they're being quiet. This is what Sony does. They be quiet, you know, when there's bad news afoot. They're not gonna mention it. They're not gonna, no. Right now, Demon Souls is a PS5 exclusive because they haven't announced the fact that it's probably gonna be on PS4. They would be foolish to not put it on PS4. Why wouldn't you put it on PS4? And also, think about it. It doesn't have ray tracing. What would prohibit it? What is stopping them from it actually working on PS4? It's a PS3 game. Come on, son. So what? Your load times won't be as fast. Who cares? It'll be faster than a PS3 game. I'm just saying. I'm predicting this now. I'm predicting this now. Demon Souls on PS5 is not gonna sell a bunch because there's no PS5s. I mean, there's a few out now, but you know, it's not like 110 million PS5s out there, right? So they literally leaving money on the table. They're gonna put it out on PS4 later, you know, the PS4 version, and boom. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying that's what makes sense, right? Just do it. But they're not saying anything because they want to sell more on PS5 or they want to sell PS5s. But honestly, people aren't buying the PS5 for Demon Souls. They're buying it for Spider-Man. Come on, son. Let's be real quick. Spider-Man. Opti says, watch the 4K gameplay video on the PS5 and see if the PS3 and PS4 can do that. It's just 4K. And honestly, a lot of the 4K, well, like Spider-Man, right? For instance, Spider-Man Miles Morales. The 4K, the real 4K, no ray tracing. The actual true 4K, native 4K, no tracing. No tracing of rays because it's weak. It's a weak station. It's a weak-ass PlayStation. It's a WAP. So the WAP cannot do true 4K 60 with ray tracing. Can't do it. Now, dynamic all day long. And also, the backwards compatible stuff, people are like, oh, PlayStation 5 does better performance on the backwards compatibility. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because it's using PlayStation 4 Pro games, right? And no PlayStation 4 Pro games are native 4K. So, they're taking, 1440p games, 1800 if you're lucky games, 1800p games, and that's what they're doing. So, yeah, it better do 60. If a PlayStation 4 backwards compatible game does not do 60, then the PlayStation's in a bunch of trouble. Because, come on, son. Come on. Oh, man, the PlayStation, they're lucky that they have the public perception of them being good and stuff. You know, people love them. They're lucky because they've been tripping and slipping and fumbling a lot lately, and they be getting passes too. But like, how long is that gonna last? Like when Starfield, you know what I'm saying, and Elder Scrolls 6 come out, is that gonna be like, oh, it's okay, Sony's still better? Is that how it's gonna be, or is it gonna be like, well, I'm trying to get time to get an Xbox? You know what I'm saying? People gonna jump ship, play some Elder Scrolls. Who knows? Opti says were there any ray tracing in Halo Infinite on the most powerful console ever? A game that been in development for 5 years. No. The reason that what I've heard, and they are starting to implement ray tracing in some Xbox Series X games. Look at Watch Dogs. It may not be the best implementation because it is a super huge open world game, and they're kind of not doing a whole bunch of stuff with it, but it's there. But games are starting to get it. I believe Assassin's Creed has it as well, Reflections at least. And for the game in development for 5 years, you know how this works, right? So first, I mean, I ain't gonna cap for 343. They've been having problems over there. You know what I mean? Whatever his name was just left, Chris whatever. Now they got Joe Staten back. They got Joe Staten back. They got the other dude that did the multiplayer for Master Chief Collection back to do the multiplayer stuff. So, I mean, they will be lucky if the game releases in 2021. I'll assume November 2021. I'm gonna say that. People are like, "Oh, spring," and I'm like, I don't know, man. They just got a new leader. He's the old leader, but he's the new leader. If he's going to really do it right and go in there and he's going to fix it. He's going to fix the ship. They need more than a couple months. They need to get in there and be like, all right, this is whack. Change this. Put them ray tracers in there. I mean, that's one of the main things, getting ray tracing in there. But they also need to... I'm trying to think how... I'm thinking like this gen, right? About to end in a day. This gen is like, yo, you look at like Forza Horizon 4. That game looks gorgeous. No ray tracing, but it looks gorgeous, right? So I'm like, dang. And Giant Bomb said, yo, if you want to play a game on the Xbox Series X, Forza Horizon 4 is super beautiful. It's the best looking whatchamacallit for that. And I believe they have ray trace reflections in that game already. On the cars, at least. Anyway. Legend says, I'm still waiting for Milo to come out. When's that coming? What's his name is gone. He's not the Lionhead's gone. Opti says, Digital Foundry says Miles Morales ray tracing impressed and surprised them, and that they can't wait to see what future PS5 exclusives will do. Okay, here's the thing. When you're talking about John Linneman, who's the guy who did the comparison, he's admitted that he has a soft spot for single-player, story-driven games, blah, 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 right? And that's fine. So do I, but I'm not going to limit my my range like that. I'm not going to say, oh, everything else is garbage. Ugh. No, I'm like, yo, if I play it and it's dope, I'm like, yo, that's hot, son. Let's go. I'm not just going to be like, I'm only going to play. And he's been getting a lot of heat. He's been catching a lot of heat. And he's... I guess he's a sensitive soul. He's got depressions and stuff. A lot of us do. So, I'm not going to be too hard on him. I don't think I never say anything bad about him. But I just know, as of recent, that he's been... I mean, before they were like, oh, you're such an X-bot. And now they're like, oh, you're such a pony. Because he's like dissing Xbox. I'm like, look. If you look at how Spider-Man is doing it, it's like, okay, it looks cool. It's half resolution. It's like, I think it's 1080p when it's 4K. And there is some quality. What's the word? There's some, not deficiencies, but there's some quality. Kind of. They pulled back some of the quality on the reflections because it makes no sense to do 100%. Reflections. That's just the kill. The PlayStation will melt through your floor. That's how hot it get if they try to do something like that. So, I think Insomniac made some smart moves as far as that goes. But also, you have to realize that in certain aspects of Spider-Man and the ray tracing, they still use screen space reflections and cube maps, depending on the situation and scenario. So, it's not... PlayStation 5 is cool. I'm not saying it's whack, but it's not as powerful as Xbox Series X. Now, Xbox Series X is behind as far as getting all of their features going because Last minute, they were like, yo, we need RDNA, the full RDNA, AMD. We need the full RDNA. They waited so long. They waited to the last minute to put it in. So they got it in later. So they got to get this stuff together. You know, they're running behind in that respect. That's why ray tracing is not in Halo Infinite and blah, blah, blah. I think also another reason why ray tracing wasn't in Halo Infinite is that they were pushing 4K, native 4K. And I'm like, first of all, this is a criticism of Microsoft. They need to get over the native 4K. You can have that option, right? But you better give me a ML, you know what I'm saying, ML upscaling version, you know, VRR and all that stuff, VRS, all that stuff. You give me all of that because I want to see ray trace Halo. That's what I want. I was playing Halo 5 and I was like, yo, this game look real good. I mean, it's Halo. And I was like, Halo's okay. I was playing it. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I think like many people have outgrown what Halo was. So I'm curious to see what Halo will be when they put it out. Legend says they done with Crackdown 4 and I want that game. They done with Crackdown 4 yet. I don't think they're going to make that. They might. You never know. They got enough freaking studios. Like, y'all ain't doing nothing, make another Crackdown. Legend also says, what about Left 4 Dead 3? That's gonna be dope when that's coming out. You know what? Microsoft was talking to Gaben, so you never know. Maybe they got a deal for Left 4 Dead 3. You never know. You never know. Valve made that, right? Yeah. But I don't know, whatever. Opti says, Spider-Man Miles Morales took less than 2 seconds to load from a save file. Less than 2 seconds. It was like 1.7 seconds. You won't see any games load faster than that on the Series X/S. I don't know. We'll have to see. That's, you know, something we can't predict. But I will say this, as far as backwards compatible stuff goes, I don't think anybody saw this coming. The Series X versus PlayStation 5 loading backwards compatible games. Guess who won them all? Now, I would have said, yeah, the PlayStation, they got a super fast hard SSD. Of course they're going to load fast. Nope. Series X beat them in every game. Every game they tested. Red Dead Redemption, all the other ones I can't remember. They beat them. They beat Xbox, beat PlayStation. And I'm like, wait, how is that possible? I'm going to tell you how it's possible. I know how it's possible, and people don't realize what's going on. And I want people to realize what the PlayStation 5 is. So, how Xbox handles backwards compatibility is this. They take a game, backwards compatible, you know, you load it up, and the Xbox treats that game as, oh, boop, 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 that's an Xbox One game. We have these features for you with our new hardware, beep, boop, boop, right? It doesn't say, oh, we have to pull up this Xbox One profile in order to play this game. It doesn't do that. It says, it's Xbox Series X. That's how it performs. It does whatever it does to any particular title in backwards compatibility. In the backwards compatibility jig, right? What the PlayStation 5 does, which is why I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, no. I mean, it's smart and it's an easy way out, but I'm like, as far as getting your older games to look better and stuff, I'm like, that's gonna be rough. So PlayStation 5 has 3 different compatibility modes, I guess you can say. And so it has a PlayStation 5 mode, boop, boop. It has a PlayStation 4 mode, boop, boop. And it has a PlayStation 4 mode. PlayStation 4 Pro mode and PlayStation 4 mode. So it basically clocks, if you load up a PlayStation 4 Pro game, right? PlayStation 4 Pro, it will go and default to the PlayStation 4 Pro default, whatever it is, settings within the system. It will clock down the CPU, the APU to. They showed it in the road to PS5 where Cerny was up there. He's like, and he was talking about it. I was like, y'all realize what this? They're emulating the PlayStation 4 Pro and the PlayStation 4 instead of using all the power of PlayStation 5 to run these games. So I'm like, why don't play backwards compatibility games? I mean, I think you get more your frames, but it's minimal, and it will always be minimal because of how they're doing that, and also that affects the load speed. So they can't push it to the metal. They can't, That's why Xbox with a twice as fast SSD, Xbox is beating them. That doesn't make any sense, right? It didn't make any sense to me, and I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, they're in compatibility mode. That's why, you're playing a PlayStation 4 game, it's going to act like a PlayStation 4, but better, because it is better. Legend says, PlayStation 5 is a system with games versus the Xbox is a system that will have games in someday, some year, sometime, maybe never at all. Who knows? Nah, they'll start to trickle in next year. They'll start to come in. Next year will be like, I think next year will be good for PlayStation. They have God of War and they have Horizon Forbidden West, and Ratchet and Clinky Clink. I think that's it, right? Those 3 games, which is enough. I wouldn't, but I mean that's another thing, right? You think about, these games are coming out, right? Which is good. I'm not saying that it's bad, but how long are you gonna wait until the new God of War that's actually gonna take advantage of the new PlayStation 5 type systems? When's that coming out? When was the last God of War? Was that 2018? 2017? When did God of War come out? So let's just say 3 years. No, we can't say that. God dog it. Because I'm going to say if they're going to take advantage of the PlayStation 5 like that and just have a next-gen God of War, then they have to graduate modify their engine to be like take advantage of it fully, right? And SSD speeds, unless they're still going to use the same old engine and just not have it for the PlayStation 4 and just have faster. I don't see, and it's design wise too. So so they can use the same engine, but they'd have to change the design of the game. Okay, that'll work. So the soonest that you can see a new God of War past Ragnarok is 2024. Because Ragnarok is cross-gen. Don't get anything twisted. All these games that come out for PlayStation 5 next-gen, they're cross-gen. God of War Ragnarok, cross-gen. Horizon Forbidden West, cross-gen. Ratchet and Clank, you know what? I'm going to say Ratchet and Clank, that might be the exception. I'm going to say that. Opti says, SG, PlayStation won't have to wait longer than Xbox. That's true. Ragnarok is coming out next year. That's true. Legend says, mark my words, you won't see Halo 5 until next year Christmas season, and that's way too far to wait. I don't think it's too far to wait if it comes out and it's like, okay, yeah, it was worth the wait. Like, did Miyamoto say, an early game is bad forever, but, a late game is whatever. I forgot what the quote is. But yeah, I'd rather wait. We're not missing not having Halo right now. I mean, we are in as far as the perception. Oh, they ain't got no game, got no launch games. But honestly, if you look at the whole of a generation, right, from start to finish, launch games are just a little bitty thing right here. It's a little bitty. Boop, boop, boop. They don't make a big, huge impact. They're games that are like, okay, that was the best launch game. Nintendo's separate. Nintendo's like in their old world. They come out with one game and only one game, and it's the best game ever because them Nintendo's fools, they hungry. They're hungry for anything, and they're like, Zelda, right? I'm not saying Zelda was whack. I'm just saying they're hungry, and Nintendo knows it. So they feed them little crackers, and they're like, oh, the best cracker I ever had. Who said that? I think that was Dave Chappelle. I just says, come this time next year, I would be interested to see who's leading and what games are out and announced. Xbox has Halo Infinite or maybe a new Forza. PlayStation has Horizon, Ragnarok, and Ratchet. Yeah. I think, I think, I mean, here's the thing, right? I think that Xbox is gonna have a lot more games than we think they're gonna have, because remember, they have 23 studios now. What I'm saying, once that Bethesda deal seals, you realize Bethesda be sneaky, right? They be like, da, 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 oh yeah, and then in a few months is out. I'm like, oh, how did that come out so quick? It's like, yeah, because we were just playing. So I have a feeling that Starfield isn't that far off. Elder Scrolls, I don't think they started on that one, but they have a lot of games that they're working on. They have a lot of studios. They have 8 studios, so they have a lot of games they're working on. Even though a couple of them are exclusives to PlayStation for a little bit. I guess a 6 or a year, whatever. But that's they're actually, I consider them like kind of smaller games. They're not like super AAA. They're like in the B, probably triple B or something like that. Like Ghostwire Tokyo and what's the other one? Deathloop. Yeah, they're not AAA. Let's be honest, right? So I'm like, all right, that'd be cool to play, but I'm like, I'm not, like, honestly, I'm gonna be real. Cyberpunk is the only game that's on my radar right now. Cyberpunk. Like, Spider-Man can kick rocks. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I mean, okay. If you break down Spider-Man, break it down. I mean, I seen the thing where he's with the Rhino running through the mall, or these quick time events and stuff, and I'm like, okay, that looks cool, but I mean, how fun is it? I mean, it's cool. I mean, I play Sunset Overdrive. I understand the loop, because the loops are the same in both games, all 3 games, if you will. The difference is weapons in Sunset Overdrive and how you move around the world, but they're both open world, third person, blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, it looks cool and everything, blah blah, but is it really like that leaps and is it like what God of War did? It's not. They put some ray tracing in it. Okay, it looks better, but is it way different? Not really. It's Spider-Man, which they've already established with Spider-Man, but they changed the character, and then you got Miles Morales. Okay, it's different, sure, different little story beats, but the core gameplay, kind of the same. So I'm like, it's a hard kind of position to be in, right? And how many games can they put out that are the same thing? Are they gonna expand New York in Spider-Man 2? How many of the Rogue Gallery are they gonna have? The Sinister 767? For real? I mean, I thought they did. I mean, anyway, it doesn't matter. Opti says, what if PlayStation hold those games hostage and keep delaying them so they can't work on new Xbox games? Wait, what? What are you talking about? You talking about the Bethesda games that's not how that works. Opti. If Microsoft owns the studio, which they're pretty much, I mean, it's a couple months, then the deal will be done, right? Then they'd be like, okay, either they're going to be on Xbox or they're going to start making other games. They're not going to wait. They're not going to sit there and like, oh, we can't make another game until it's out. No, they'd be like, whatever. They want to do it, okay. I'm curious to see if Insomniac makes a Sunset Overdrive 2. That's what I want to know. And if they do, which I doubt they will, because they're going to be making I said this before when the first Spider-Man came out. I said Insomniac is going to be making Spider-Man games until the end of time. That is it. They have cemented their feet in the concrete. They are done being free and creative. They're owned by Sony, and Sony is like, nope, slaves. You are making Spider-Man forever. And the funny thing is, the last game, the game that they were like, yo, that was like, oh, this is the game we want to make or whatever, Sunset Overdrive. That was all them. Microsoft was like, yeah, make the game, whatever. They're like, okay, let's do this, blah, blah. And one thing, I'll say this every time, I hated the music in Sunset Overdrive. Okay, I didn't hate it, but I did not like it. And that was the game that was screaming for one of those Forza Horizon type of radio stations. Like, have just different radio. Just have, hip hop, you have orchestral, classical, jazz, the punk rock stuff that they had in there. some drum and bass. If they did that, that game would be. I would be still playing that game. Just throw the music on. Be nice. Sorry. Spider-Man Ratchet and Clank. What if PlayStation holds those games hostage and keep delaying them so they can't work on new Xbox games? Huh? Oh. No. They're not. Insomniac's not making anything for Xbox. Sony owns them, so they're not making anything for Xbox. I'm just saying they're going to be making Spider-Man for the end of time. That's all I'm saying. Legend says, I don't think you've ever played Spider-Man. You give it way less credit than it's... No. I don't... I've seen a lot of... I've watched so many hours of Spider-Man. Now, I know watching video isn't the same as playing, but I have played 40 hours of Sunset Overdrive. I checked it the other day. I played 40. I got all of the little icons on it. I got everything. Every toilet paper roll, every sneakers, all the cell phone. I got everything. I played that game so much. And believe me or not, the DNA of Sunset Overdrive lives in Spider-Man. They are so connected. You don't realize how connected they are. They are very much connected games. And yeah, I would say that I would probably enjoy Spider-Man more because of the advancements they'd had. But I don't know. It's something about the movement in Sunset Overdrive that's super satisfying. Once you get like all upgraded and stuff, and you can like basically fly. It's pretty good. Opti says better stuck making Spider-Man game than Halo or Gears games. Hey, you giving Gears, I'd say Gears less credit because Gears is hot. Gears is killing it. I don't think y'all. I mean, a lot of PlayStation people are not into multiplayer stuff. Gears got it on lock. Gears and Halo together, man. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how relevant Halo is gonna be. But we'll see. I mean, maybe they got a trick up their sleeve or something. Legend says, aha, you never played Spider-Man. Spider-Man is absolutely astounding. It's way better than you're saying it is. Yeah, I used to be a graphics whore. And graphics are cool. They look good. They're pretty. But I look past the graphics and I look at the gameplay. I look at the gameplay loop. I look at Spider-Man and what flashes in my head is Batman. Because basically that's what it is. You get into a little area, you beat up a bunch of dudes, you go to the next place, you beat up, then story. It's Batman. Let's call it what it is. It's Batman. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm not offended. I don't hate it. But at the same time, I know what kind of game it is. So if the main thing I think is that the characters, whether it be the villains, Rogues Gallery, or Peter Parker or Miles Morales himself, they got to be on point. You can't be slacking on that stuff. And that's where I don't know that much about. I've seen a few cutscenes. I'm like, okay, I've seen the ending of the original Spider-Man PlayStation 4, and I was like, okay, yeah. I've seen the ending when it happens. I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, right, that's cool. The fact that another thing I don't think they should have done. They changed Peter Parker's face. That was unnecessary. Legend says Spider-Man's better than Batman by far. Yes. I will not debate that. I will agree with that 1,000,000,000%. Yes, it is. I'm just saying they're just similar as far as mechanics go. Similar games. I think one problem with Batman is that they should have daytime stuff in Batman. It's all nighttime. It's like, okay, well, I understand Batman, Dark Knight, blah, 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 but come on, son. Give us a dynamic, day-night cycle, and, then we'll talk. And Spider-Man is... I was about to say Spider-Man is a better character, but I think the universe between, like, Batman and Joker and kind of all the rogues gallery of the Batman sphere is a little more interesting. Like, the bad guys in Batman, I think, are a little more interesting than Spider-Man's. but I think Spider-Man as a character is better than Batman. But I think, you know what it is? I think they need to go into, well, I think they did in the last Batman. But they need to really go into like how crazy Batman actually is. I think they did, but I don't think they've gone far enough. You know what they should do? They should make White Knight. They should make the White Knight story. I need to get I bought the trade paperback for Rocco for his birthday one year, and he read it in 2 seconds. I didn't get to read it. I was gonna read it first and then give it to him, but I was like, I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna do that. So I just gave it to him. But I mean, it's interesting to me, like how they flipped everything, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of dope, yo. That'd be kind of a good game right there. But I think they're kind of scared to make Batman the bad guy or whatever, or Joker the good guy, or I don't know, whatever. It's just so much dark kind of adult stuff that's in Batman that they don't touch, which is a shame. Legend says, no, I know you're tripping. Did you see what happened to his aunt? Yes. Or just the Venom teaser. Yeah, I saw that too. No, it's both. Both. I saw all of that stuff. And I never I'm not too. I'm flashing to Amazing Spider-Man, the movie actually, but no. But I think Venom would be a good. You know what? If they do Venom right in the next Spider-Man, then I'd be like, okay, all right, that might be dope. Because I always liked the Venom storyline, the original Venom storyline, and the symbiote storyline in Amazing Spider-Man, the comic, and then how it ties into Venom and all that stuff. I liked that, and they should do that. I'm trying to think. How tricky would that be to do a symbiote storyline in a game? I guess if certain characters aren't in the picture, then I think it has less of a impact, right? So I think they kind of screwed it up already because they did certain things with certain characters, so they can't. I got to go back to my Spider-Mans. I think it was Amazing Spider-Man 300. He had the black suit. He got it before that. I have issue 2. I think I have issue 280 something to 300, and then I have some beyond. Do I have Venom? I think I do have a Venom. A Venom Venom. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But there'll be good games, right? So like you look at the Metacritic. Miles Morales got an 85. Now I'm not sure why I got an 85. Maybe because it's too short. Maybe because it's kind of more of the same. And that's one of the issues I see with what's gonna, like, if you want to look at trends, you say, okay, God of War was hot, right? God of War was like, boom, this was great. They changed it, but it's the same, but it's a sequel, but it's way better. The one shot all the way. It's crazy, right? That new game smell wears off. So now, like, as a designer, you're like, okay, that's what we did and it was dope. So the next game's, how do we do that on the next game? Just make better boss monsters, make a better story, but have the same kind of mechanics and trappings. Is that going to be enough, right? I think that's, like, if Miles Morales was the first Spider-Man game that they put out, it would get like hundreds. It would get 9s and 10s all the way down the line. Because they're like, oh my God, Spider-Man, this is the best Spider-Man ever. But everybody played Spider-Man, PS4 Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man for PS4. Everybody played that. So they know, they got the swinging just like the old Spider-Man. Oh, this is great. Look at that, right? So that's done. You can't repeat because you already did. You already played the cards. That trick is done already. We already know that trick. Show us a new trick. And that's the problem. What is the new trick that Insomniac can do in Spider-Man 2 besides like a Venom kind of storyline? Or I would say Venom and Raven the Hunter. But I don't, because I have the Raven Saga 2 where Raven kills Spider-Man. But I don't remember if Opti says Oh wait, Legend says you got the black suit in Secret Wars when fighting the Beyonder. He came back and found out it was more than just a suit in the web of Spider-Man #1. Yeah, web of Spider-Man. That's what I think the web is. Well, the whatchamacallit, the Raven and Hunter storyline went through a whole bunch of different. I think it went through a couple of Web of Spider-Mans. I think it was in Amazing as well, but I don't remember. I think I tried to get all of them because I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This crazy dude, hunting the little spider. It was kind of cool. That's what I want to see. Like I said, if you got a real good bad guy, it makes everything so good. It makes like the game's better. The good guy is better because the bad guys. That's the whole thing with Batman, like the Dark Knight stuff, the Christopher Nolan stuff. All the bad guys were really good. If you think, Batman Begins was cool because it was like a origin story. I mean, Ra's al Ghul, he was all right. But the Dark Knight, come on, son, the Joker was Joker was good. And even the third one with Talia, I was like, it's alright. Catwoman, meh. Who else was in it? Two-Face? Oh, Two-Face was in Dark Knight. Two-Face was okay, but Joker, come on, son. It's like good bad guy makes your whack ass good guy better. Makes everything better. So they can do it. I'm not saying they ain't got the skills to do it, but like I said, all those other tricks and all those other wow factors that the original games, God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon, Forbidden West did, that's whole news now. So what's the new gimmick? What's the new flavor that you're going to sprinkling on top of the original recipe to make it, it's another 10? It's like The Last of Us, right? The Last of Us Part 2, it got kind of, there's a lot of fanboys out there. There's a lot of pony critics out there. Oh, it's a 10 masterpiece. Okay, the story isn't the best, but it's a 10. I'm like, that's not how. No, I mean, it's your opinion, but what? I would say in a game specifically, like, The Last of Us Part 2 or something, the story is super. If the story is whack or not that good or whatever, characterization, anything, then it should get some super minus points because that's a huge part of that type of game. It's like if Don't Nod put out a game like Life is Strange or something or whatever the other one was, and the story's stupid, and it's like 10 out of 10. It's like, but the story was garbage. I mean, that's all that game is, a story. So this ain't like Gauntlet. Be like, oh, the story sucks, so we got a 5. It's like there's no story in Gauntlet. I mean, it kind of is a story in Gauntlet, but you have to actually read the backsplash or the marquee of the arcade to get the story. Like, the wizard is smart, and the Valkyrie is a woman, and the warrior has red bear shorts on or whatever, and the thief is green. And that's the story of Gauntlet. There you go. Opti says it got an 85 because Spider-Man was black. That's true. I mean, honestly, I think if it was scored after, what was it, yesterday, the day before, it would have got a higher score because Biden. That's why. Because 46 is in the house. I'm just saying. Anyway, we're not going down that road. Even that's probably because I'm more happy. Normie! How you doing, Normie? Hi, Normie. I just want to say, she says some good stuff about me. Wait. That is all good night. Thank you, Normie. She's probably not listening, but that's okay. Thank you, Normie. Boom. You're awesome too, but I'll say it too. You are awesome. Awesome. I can't spell awesome. Awesome too. Anyway. So yeah. PlayStation 5 is the next gen PlayStation. Xbox is the Series X is the next gen Xbox. I still have higher hopes for the Xbox only because of the numbers, and there's only so much that you can push a PlayStation. If you think about how it is, how big it's so big, and that begs the question, right? So I think Sony's gonna try to be sneaky, in a way. And I think that they're going to try to make another PlayStation, a slim PlayStation, that has a different, has the full RDNA and all that stuff. Would they go with the PlayStation 4 Pro moniker, or would they just call that PlayStation 5 Slim, right? Make it smaller because it doesn't have to be as fast because the higher clocks, because RDNA 2, put a faster chip and all that stuff in it, right? Kind of make it like an Xbox Series X, except call it a PlayStation Slim. Keep the same price, right? That's what they did last gen, and that makes sense, right? So that they can say full RDNA or whatever, or not say it and just have the same price with a smaller form factor, and people will buy it because it's smaller. And so everybody's getting this giant ass PlayStation 5 now. I'm like, it doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. Then there's a whole bunch of other stuff like, the 664, 667 space on a hard drive on the SSD. I'm like, okay, that's small, but yeah, you can use an external drive, right? If you got your library, your PlayStation, if you buy some PlayStation 5 games, you can just throw it on there and save them and not play off of them, but you could just keep them there, right? Archive, right? Nope. I'm like, hold up. You telling me that you can't buy Spider-Man Miles Morales PS5 version and put a 8 terabyte USB joint on that PlayStation 5 and just throw all your games on there? PlayStation 5 game, PlayStation 4, it don't matter. You can't do that. If you looked at the UI of the PlayStation 5, they literally separate each game. Like if it's a PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4. It's like on Xbox, it's all the games is there. They don't say, oh, this is an Xbox Series X game, but this is a PlayStation, this is an Xbox One game, this is OGX. No. I mean, you could sort by that. You could sort by Xbox Series X and S, and you could sort by Xbox One and all that stuff. But it doesn't have separate categories for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4. And I'm like, I mean, I know y'all said y'all believe in generations, but this is not helping. First of all, UI stuff. This is not helping your hard drive situation, which sucks. I'm listening to all these YouTubers out there crying and complaining. I haven't heard anybody say that's the best thing Sony could do. Yeah, only have 667 gigs, and it. You know how much sense that doesn't make? Let me explain. If I buy a PlayStation 5 and I'm like, yo, I'm going to buy all the PlayStation 5 games. I got all the money. I'm rich. I got yachts and planes and stuff. I'm going to buy all the games. I can't put them all on a hard drive because they all won't fit. Because small. The SSD slot, expansion slot, is inactive because they weren't ready. I'm like, hold up. If the PlayStation 5 dev kits were out way before the Xbox, why is their storage solution so whack? Why is it gimped? Why don't they have that situated? I'm like, yo, if you're sitting there like, yo, I'm gonna get a PlayStation 5, I know you're not feeling good about how many games you're gonna be able to have. How long is it gonna be before they're gonna actually have an expansion storage solution for y'all? You know what I'm saying? Or are they gonna do, we made it so that you can store PlayStation 5 games on the USB external whatever, but you can't play them off of that? That's all they have to do. I'm like, there has to be a reason why they're not doing that. My thing is, Microsoft is allowing you to store whatever on external storage, which makes sense. It's like a PC. If you got a PC, you got your C drive is a SSD, and you got another drive that's a SSD, and you got a big old 1,000 terabyte drive, just slow as dirt, that just has all your games. That's how people do it. And then they say, oh, I want to play this game a lot, so let me throw it on the SSD real quick. Zoop, transfer it over, boom, play it up. That's how I'm gonna say we do, but that's how PC players do. And the fact that Sony's not even like paying attention, or I don't know what they're doing, but you need to pay attention to technology. You need to pay attention to what's going on. I understand they're a technology company, but the past couple of years, they've been slipping. Ever since the PlayStation 4 Pro came out, they're like, we don't need to work that hard. They still in that mindset, I guess, because they're like, we'll worry about the SSD later. They don't need no SSD. What do you need SSD for? It don't make no sense, man. I would first. This is what I would do. If I would be like, I'm gonna get a PlayStation 5, and then I saw that, I'd be like, I'm gonna wait until they figure out that whole SSD expandable storage joint, because I'm not gonna be sitting there 6 months, a year later, they still ain't figure it out, and I'm like, I have to delete games, and then if I want to go back and revisit it, they got some DLC for that. I gotta download the game again. What if you got a data cap, son? Oh well, guess you downloading it again. It makes no sense. It's Legend says, I know you're just looking for a weak spot to dig it. Dig at Sony, but I'm not a fan of the storage solution either. It disappoints me deeply. I'm still in on Sony because of one thing, that Xbox doesn't have games. For now. No, I can respect that. And I'm not going to argue about that. Microsoft dropped the ball on that. One thing I do like about what Microsoft is doing is that they had to prioritize. Phil Spencer came in and he's like, our hardware is kind of whack. This big ass VCR, put that shit in the garbage. Let's make some new stuff. And so that's what they did. That's what they've been doing. I know they've left the games, out to pasture. They'd be like, games aren't important if our hardware sucks. Okay. So I appreciate the fact that they are on point with their hardware. They're not playing no more. And I am glad that they have gone there. And I look at the Xbox Series X and I look at the PlayStation 5 and I'm like, what is Sony doing? I don't understand it, because PlayStation 4, when it came out versus Xbox, OG Xbox One, I'm like, Xbox. I'm like, I bought an Xbox. I'm an Xbox boy, right? But I'm looking at PlayStation 4, the original PlayStation 4. I'm like, still the best looking PlayStation. Still the best looking PlayStation. I'm going to say that all the way. I'm going to say PlayStation 4 original, still best looking PlayStation. Better than the PlayStation 5. I'm going to say that. That's what I believe. And they got it right with the PlayStation 4, right? I mean, it's old now, but still, when it came out, boom, it was nice. What happened? PlayStation 4 Pro was like, it's like a half step. It was. They doubled the CUs and the graphics thing in the graphics portion of the APU, and what else they do? I think they added a little bit more speeders. I don't know. It's barely. I mean, they got a little bit of fake 4K stuff, And that's where it started. I think the PlayStation 4 Pro was like a little baby half step, not even. It was like it was a half-assed half step, right? And you look at the Series X, the One X, which was like smack. It was like, oh, okay, this is good now. This is a good Xbox, right? Now you're going into Tuesday, these next gen consoles. Series X is killing it. Across the board, killing everything, right? I know, games don't have them at launch, but come on, son. You're looking at Bethesda titles. You're looking at looking at 23 studios. It's a lot. There's a lot of potential. Let's just say that. And there's only so far potential to give it to you, but I'm just saying. It's there, and that's all we can say. But as far as hardware goes, Sony is tripping right now. I'm looking at the PlayStation 5. I'm like, why are there so many problems with the PlayStation 5 right now? It's not even out yet. And they're like, the storage thing sucks. What else? You can't save the games on an external drive. That sucks. Small hard drive. You can't even expand it. Sucks. I'm like, and once again, they're like, oh man, this controller's so good. I'm like, okay, that may be the case, but I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't nobody gonna use all them rumble jumbles and all that crap. Ain't nobody's gonna use that. Nobody's gonna, trust me. There's rumble triggers in the Xbox controller. Nobody uses it. That's extra work. Nobody's gonna use it. I mean, first party Sony, yeah, they'll use it. They'll use it here and there because they're probably mandated. Sony's be like, Jim Ryan's like, yo, you better use that right there. You better use the rumble tray haptic feedback. You better use that. I can't do this. But I'm just saying, ain't gonna be too much. Ooh, look at it. Ooh, feel the sand under my feet. Astro Bot. Ain't gonna be too much of that. It'll be a little bit. It ain't gonna be too much of that. So don't. And plus, I heard the battery life kind of sucks on the dual sense. And I'm like, y'all didn't expect that with all this rumble haptic feedback and tension triggers and all this stuff. You didn't expect it to. You didn't expect it's gonna be whack ass battery. Of course, it's gonna be whack battery life. You got all that bullshit happening, plus a microphone, plus a speaker. Come on, son. You got so much stuff going on that damn controller. You'd be lucky to get 2 hours out of it. I think that's what somebody said. They were playing Astrobot full bore, 2 hours. I was like, 2 hours. Okay, that's nope. That's a big nope for me. The worst part about that, you can't change the battery in that thing. I mean, you could try, you take it all apart, but come on, son. And people are making fun of the Xbox controller. Oh, you got double A's, blah blah. Well, guess what? You buying a new controller, fool. You're playing right into Sony's hands. They're like, yeah, we're gonna make it so that they have to buy a new controller. I mean, they don't have to, but yeah, it's easier for them to buy a new controller when their battery starts to suck a lot. So there are gonna be a lot of people, I guess, plugging it into the wire it up. Luckily, I have a USB port on my couch, so I mean, I could just plug it into that. That's how I charge my Xbox controller when it needs charging. But let me get back to here. Legend says, but they were on point with the Xbox S, and they still didn't come out with any good exclusive games. You might want to throw up Gears of War, but I don't like Gears of War. I like Halo, but they didn't come out with Halo. No, Gears is good. Gears is a good game. Doesn't get credit. Bubbles. What's up, Bubble Buddy Nut? How you doing, man? Appreciate you coming through. Psst, Xbox good, haha. What you talking about, son? I love Xbox. Legend says. Sorry, I meant the One X. God, their naming is so jacked up. I can't even remember the names. No, I know what you meant. Oh no, you did say yes, but yeah, I got you. Bubbles says PC Master Race. Okay, whatever. Legend says controller lasts 8 hours with all functions working and working continuously. There've been various reports on that controller stuff. So 8 hours is the longest I've heard. I think 9 hours I've heard. The longest, but I've heard like 2. I've heard 4 hours. I've heard 5 hours. So I don't know what these people are doing with their damn controllers. Maybe they're just blowing too much. You're blowing too much. You're draining the battery. And how does that work? All that moisture from the spit, from your spittle, when you're spitting into your controller. I guess your hands sweat too. So yeah, I guess that's not a big deal. Opti says, imagine using AA batteries on your phone. You don't need to use AA batteries on the controller. You can use a battery pack, which is what I do. Which is, it's in there. You don't ever pull it out. You just plug it in. And when that dies, you can then take it out, replace it with a new battery pack, and plug and charge. Yeah, so that's the whole thing about that is just, it doesn't even have to be AA's, you know? I mean, they just do that for convenience, but even if it was like, oh, there's a battery bay, and you could open it up and pull it out and buy a new battery on Amazon or through Xbox, and you just slap it in, and, you know, when it dies, same difference. So if Sony did that, where you can open up your DualSense, you know, boop, pop it open, throw a new battery in, bloop, close it back, there would be no discussion. It's really about the fact that you cannot change your battery on your controller. That's the whole argument. And ponies go to the AA kind of point, and it's not about AA. I mean, that's just what they chose. It's about the ability to change the power source and not have a lifespan on your controller based on the lifespan of the battery that is in it. And that's the argument. Legend says, I can't open up my phone. I'm cool with that. Why aren't you cool with the controller? Come on, man. You're reaching for me. Bullshit. No removable batteries on Switch controllers. Well, they're in the same boat, too. Well, I mean, if you're talking about whatchamacallits, the Pro Controller's okay, but the the Joy-Cons are hot garbage. But the phone, there are some phones that you can change the batteries. Well, the older phones used to be like that. But like Bridget's old phone that she just replaced, you can pop open the back, like the whole back cover comes off, and that's how you get into the SIM and stuff. So, I would say some phones on the marketplace still do that. So, but that's just that. But that's not that's okay. Let's see. What's a good because that's. And phone batteries they last longer than controller batteries I would say, on average. I think that's right? Let's say average phone battery lasts about 3 to 4 years. So I had the phone's in the garage. My 1520, my Nokia, I had it for like 4 years before I had to switch the battery in it. Yeah, the battery started dying. But I'm trying to think, is there anything applicable? I guess phones are the closest analog to that. Yeah, I was gonna say digital cameras, but it's different. So yeah, there's no other comparison for controllers, but I don't think that's really a valid argument as far as. And if you want to be real, if we think about it, the new Series X, the Elite version 2 doesn't have a battery. Doesn't take AA, excuse me. It has a battery pack built in. It has batteries built in. You can't replace the batteries on the Elite version 2. The second version. But that's the old, it doesn't have the share button on it. But, that's the only thing that's different between that and the new controller. So maybe they'll come up with like a version 2.2 or something with a share button. I don't know. Who knows? Legend says, the batteries in my last PlayStation controller last 2 years. The one I'm using now, I've already used for more than 2 years. And that's all right. But I bet you the charge isn't as good as it used to be. But that's just batteries, whatever. But like I said, if you really like a controller, or say if you get a custom controller, somebody made you a custom controller or something, there's a lifespan. Then you gotta go, like, I want to still use this controller, but honestly, the way that Sony's doing it, they're not doing cross compatibility with peripherals. Really, they are, but not really. Like, you can't play a PlayStation 5 game with your DualShock 4. And so I'm like, that kind of sucks. What if you got a nice controller that you love? What if you got a controller, I don't know, that your boy President Trump signed, and you be like, yo, this is my Trump controller. I want to play with it, but I can't no more. It sucks. Why limit the options? And the whole thing is, with Xbox's kind of mentality, as far as the player is the center of blah, 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 they're giving the consumers options. You want to play Game Pass. You want to do Game Pass? You don't have to buy an Xbox. You can play it on PC. You can play it on your phone. Soon it'll be on Samsung TVs, I believe. So, options. With Sony, you don't have options. You have an option if you want to play PlayStation 4 games on your PlayStation 5. You can use a DualShock 4. That's the only option. Or you can use the DualShock 5. That's another option. So you got those two, sure. But SSDs? Expansion? Well, you got zero options right now because they're not even ready. And I'm like, I wouldn't buy, would you buy a car that, I'm I'm trying to think of a comparison. Like, would you buy a PC that the SSD slot on the motherboard is disabled? You know? Like, oh yeah, we have to update that later. We'll do that later. Like, what? Oh, why don't I just buy another freaking PC? Because y'all are bullshitting right now. You know? Opti says, my 6-year-old PS4 controller is still going strong. Can we replace the ugly black side panels from the Series X? We can with the PS5. Oh, you don't have ugly black side panels. You have ugly white side panels. And there are no side panels on the Series X. It's all one piece. The sides, the top, the bottom, it's all one piece. The only panel that you can replace is the back. That's the only piece that comes off. So it's only two pieces, actually. If you think about it, it's less plastic than the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 has the side panels. Then it has the actual plastic housing that, you know, puts everything, that houses the actual innards. Then you have the metal shroud and all that stuff. There's actually more plastic. Well, obviously, there's more plastic on the PlayStation 5 because it's huge. Can you buy whatever? Can you buy whatever up to standard memory card on the Xbox Series X? Nope, you're stuck with a 220 1 terabyte drive. Opti, you should not say that because you're gonna be in for a surprise. I mean, I understand you're no idiot, so I'm gonna assume that you understand how SSD memory works. Not works, but as far as pricing goes, the faster it is, the more expensive it is. Guess what the PlayStation 5 requires? Super fast SSDs. So, not only will the SSDs for your PlayStation 5 expansion slot, whenever they decide to, activate it, turn it on, when you get that, they will be way more expensive, comparably, as far as size-wise, than the Xbox. The Xbox 220 1 terabyte drive is like $10, $15 more than same drive from a third party. Same. And if you want to be for real, if you want to be slick and sly, and if Microsoft was nice, they would sell the housing for the SSDs because it's literally an NVMe. It's an NVMe drive in that specific housing that they have because what's his name? Spawnwave. He opened up the Xbox Series X today. I think it was today. And he opened up, he showed the SSD inside. And here's another thing that's wrong with the PlayStation 5, which is so crazy. I'm like, y'all should not buy a PlayStation 5. I'm telling y'all, if you for real, y'all are going to have a lot of buyer's remorse. When the new PlayStation comes out, the new PlayStation 5 Pro, whatever it's called, y'all going to hate this one that's coming out now. The Xbox Series X has inside, not the one that you buy to plug in, the inside SSD is replaceable. It's a slot. They have a slot. It's a little mini SSD. I forgot who made the one inside. It's not Seagate. It's another company. But he showed it. It's like a thing. It's a regular SSD with a little screw on it. Go boop, boop, pop it out. Done. I mean, it's crazy to get into it because it's way inside. But you can, if something goes wrong with the SSD on the Xbox Series X, you can replace the inside SSD. The PlayStation 5 SSD is soldered to the motherboard. The chips, the memory is soldered to the you can't replace it unless you want to solder your motherboard. You're done, son. I'm like, it's almost like Sony didn't think. And they were like, we're going to do this. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then Microsoft was like, they thought about like every little bit, like, okay, what if this fails? Okay, well then we do. It just seems to be a smarter implementation of design and technology. And I'm like, I thought Sony was the hardware company. What happened? What happened, Sony? Why is yours much whacker? I mean, y'all got games. I mean, that's it though. And maybe you think that's all you need until we get a little down the road and your memory fails on your PlayStation 5. And so what do they need to do? If they say, oh, we'll fix your PlayStation 5, they got to tear that junk off. They got to unsolder the memory, solder new memory on there. They'll probably just replace with another new system, not your same system. But with the Xbox, they could be like, oh, okay, take it apart, Pop in a new one. Boop, beep, boop, boop. Done. They got sort of shit. Ain't got sort of nothing. I'm sorry, I gotta read. Legend says PlayStation 4 replacement battery on Amazon is $13.99 right now. It's just a plug and play. That's all you have to do is a screwdriver. To change it, it's not even hard. You ever think you're reaching a little bit far with not enough? No. That's not the point. That's not the point, Legend. I mean, I could figure out how to change a PlayStation 4, a DualShock 4. Of course I can. I've done it. I did it on my phone. And that was harrowing for me. I did it on my phone. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. A controller, but that's nothing. For me. But Bridget? Like, here, could you change the battery for this? She'd be like, If Sony wants to capture the casuals again, that's a thing. Just saying. We're special. We know a lot more than casuals. It doesn't seem like Sony's going for the casual market with pricing and with just how they're doing everything. I don't know. It's weird. And their actual messaging. They're not clear, concise. They're kind of on shaky ground a lot of the time. Legend says the Xbox 360 hard drive is still $99. It's been like 10 years. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. You cannot replace the Xbox SSD without flashing the data, which is encrypted. I'm not talking about that, because you probably have to do the same thing on a PlayStation, I would assume. But there are ways around that, because they figured that out on the Xbox One, where you flash the hard drive in order for it to take a new, because they've done that on Xbox Ones already. Because my boy got he did that. He put a SSD in his. I was like, why'd you do that? You just plug it in on just plug it in on the outside. It's like just as fast through 3.1, because the I/O on the Xbox One is kind of slow. I mean, comparably, but I think they even said that the 3.1 USB jack on the Xbox One X is like faster than the inside, and so if you get an SSD, it's kind of super fast. Dope. The casuals just buy new systems and they don't try to fix them. Yeah, I know, but it just makes it easier going down the road and stuff. I've changed the hard drive on many PlayStation, bro, and I never had to do anything then plug it in and plug in a cable. Well, that's different though, Legend. I'm telling you, for the PlayStation 5, it's not the same. On the motherboard, they showed it when they did the teardown. It's like, here's the SSD right here, and here's the controller in the middle. It's like 3 chips, which were I guess 220, not 225, 275 each. That makes 825, right? Some weird numbers. And then the controller was on the other side. Was it on the other side? I can't remember what side it was on, but it's on the one side of the motherboard. And I'm like, oh, they just soldered them on the motherboard. I guess you can't replace them. So if you get a PlayStation 5, when you get a PlayStation 5, Legend, just know that you won't be able to do that with that system. That's why I'm saying, like, for you, I know it's hard, but I would be very curious to see how long it takes Sony to come out with a revision of the PlayStation 5 that has maybe a different size SSD on the board and that has more RDNAs. I'm just saying a revision that, makes it smaller, all these things. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed the form factor to be similar to the Xbox Series X in order to get better cooling, in order to get it smaller. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, Sony is not. They're not ashamed to borrow, let's just say, from other people, companies, competitors. They're not, which is fine. I mean, there's no law against them being inspired by something that works better. But Opti says everyone knows how to use a solder gun. Okay. I remember last time. Was it the last time? It wasn't the last time. But I remember when I was younger, I was using a solder gun, and I went to reach for it, and I grabbed the metal part, and I burned the shit out of my fingers. My fingers were burnt. They had to be like 2nd-degree burns or something. Oh, it hurt so much. It was like bacon. I was like, son of a bastard. Me says, "Oh shucks, thanks, amigo." That was a while ago. But yeah, so I mean, that's just little nitpicky stuff. Honestly, Legend, you're right. Opti, you're right. When it comes down to it, it's the games. I give Sony props. They're doing their thug thizzle. They're coming out with the dope games. And I'm not going to say, oh, it's whack or it's whack. I'm just saying that the PlayStation 5, as it stands right now, will eventually hold back some aspect of them being more than like what they are right now. Like usually Miles Morales is this, and I can't even say Demon's Souls because they don't have ray tracing. But the fact that they only have 40 CUs, is it 40? Yeah, it's 36 CUs. It's 40 CUs, but 36 which it's the same as the PlayStation 4 Pro. The fact that yes, it's a different architecture, so they're more efficient, so they get more performance per CU, right? But still, not as many as an Xbox. So that's gonna hurt them going down the line. You know what I'm saying? Like when we had the PlayStation 4, it was like, oh, you know, like if you think about it, if you think about the PlayStation 4, how when they started their generation to the end, the games didn't get that much better. If you look at what was the game? Killzone Shadowfall. That game was hot. You look at it, it's like, yo, those graphics, that's some good ass graphics. Look at those graphics. Look at The Last of Us Part 2. Not that much, not that huge of a gap of a difference, right? Because they were pushing the metal from the jump. I have a feeling that's the same thing that's going to happen with the PlayStation 5. That PlayStation 5 as it stands now. The games are going to come out hot. God of War, Horizon, all these games, boom. You're not going to get an increase of quality or anything because they're using all the tricks. They're using all the smoke and mirrors. They're doing all the things that they know how to do to squeeze the most out of it, because basically the PlayStation 5 is super similar to the PlayStation 4 Pro, only that it has a better CPU part and everything is faster and the SSD is faster. But everything else is super similar. So in the SSD section, this is what Cerny was talking about, they can design the games differently. Like Ratchet and Clank, you go through the portal, it takes 2 seconds, boom, you're in another world. That's cool. You know, that changes game design. It doesn't change the game loop necessarily. So you can load up different worlds quicker. The game loop is still the same. Shoot, 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 collect, 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 go to this place, shoot, 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 collect, collect. It doesn't change. I would say the only game that's changing game design as it stands with this new technology is, I'll say, is a caveat, is the medium. But there are other games that have done that as well, like Soul Reaver did the switching between worlds and stuff. So games have done it, but this one is different in that it's playing both at the same time. And I'm like, I have to play this game because I don't quite understand how or what they're doing. I mean, I've seen the videos and I'm like, okay. And it's two things happening at the same time. So you're supposed to look at one and they say, okay, wait, I need to go here on this one. So I could, it's so crazy. And I'm like, that's different. And it's because of the speed of the SSDs. It is possible, but at a lower fidelity, I would say, on current gen. But it's a little more different than, oh, the loading times are faster, so you can load in worlds fast. And that's cool. I'm not taking that away from Ratchet and Clank, but I'm just saying it's just like that's good overall. But the median is doing something like, oh, okay, that's a little bit more different. I'm sorry. Legend says, Opti says everyone knows how to use this. Oh, nice. I read that already. Opti says Xbox games came out cold and stay cold last year. Legend says, okay, now you're saying Killzone Shadowfall looks exactly the same as God of War. No. I'm saying that the quality of the graphics from Killzone Shadowfall to I didn't say God of War. I said Horizon. Not Horizon. I said Last of Us Part 2. I said the gulf isn't like, oh man, you see the beginning and it's not a huge difference. That's what I'm saying. I would say God of War is probably the best looking game on the PlayStation 4. I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in that respect, yes, it looks better than Killzone. But go back and look at Killzone. Okay, I get it. I'll do it here. I'll do it live. Do it live. I'll do it on this. Killzone Shadowfall. Yeah. Videos. Yeah. Trailer? No, I don't want a trailer. I want gameplay. I guess it's all trailers, huh? 2013. Wow. Let me change this. Where are you? Here. What happened? It's not working. But just don't bite it. Okay, why is this not working? Boop, boop, boop. Nope. Hold on. I'm gonna get it. Oh, there it is. Popped in now. Look at those okay, this is a bad. Why is this so fuzzy? Hold on, let me see. 480p. Jeez. 720p. Come on, son. Why is it so low? Is GameSpot? I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm going to YouTube. I'm going to Sony's page. I want freaking. This is ridiculous. Sony PlayStation. There you go. Not subscribed. I wonder how far down I have to go to find Killzone Shadow. Killzone. Is it even going to be in here, or they do like delete those? I don't even see any PlayStation 4 stuff. Videos. Oh, playlist, right? Playlist. Do playlist, and it should be. Let's look for it. Is it? It's not gonna be in alphabetized order. Sega. Okay, there. Okay, wait. Okay, it should be somewhere down here. Jupiter, Mars. It's probably way at the bottom, right? Anthem. I could just like freaking search for it instead of being a dumbass. Killzone Shadowfall. PlayStation Killzone Mercenary? What is that? What is PlayStation Mercenary? That's not even. That's why I went to PlayStation, because I want to get the best quality. I don't want all these goofy. And there we go. There we go. Okay. Wait. 720, is it? There we go. 1080p. Full screen, babe. Oh, that's wrong. Full screen. Let's go. Look at those graphics. Wait, is it still? Okay, so. Look at. Okay, it's compressed. It's super compressed. Look at those graphics. Okay, this isn't like super impressive, but. And it's also not 1080p. They lied about the resolution thing, so they got sued about that. It does look a little soft now. Okay, I take it back. It's not as good, but it looks super good though. But God of War definitely looks better. I think everything else does look better, but for a launch game, come on, son, this is alright. I mean, I don't think it got all the. Yes, I like the design of the actual city. Like, that building looks dope. That's a good looking city. Tell you, man, Gorilla, man, they're making some good. Look at that. Look at them. You know what? The gameplay I think looks better, even though this is like in-engine gameplay and all that stuff. For some reason, like when I look at I wonder if they have like 4K. They should probably have 4K gameplay. Killzone, Shadowfall. Wait. Fall official. No. Let's try. Oh, I was gonna say. Oh, quick look. Let's do that. Wait, what was that? Come on, son. What is this? Skip it. What did I just see? PlayStation 4 on PlayStation 5 quick look. Oh, okay. Well, we go watch that for a little bit. Full screen. But yeah. So so a lot of the PlayStation 4 games backwards compatible run at like 60 frames, which they should because it's not at 4K. It's 1440p at times. Checkerboard it up, so that's how they did it. Abdi says SG now find the Halo 4 trailer Xbox 360 game compared to Halo Infinite. Oh, okay, yeah, we can do that. I'm not gonna be capped. Oh, oops. Stop. No. I'm not gonna cap for Halo Infinite. Halo 4, they probably have a versus. It's probably there we go. What was that? Oh, that's my phone. Let's see who did this. Sunny. We'll go through them all. We'll see. Let's see what's going on my phone. Who's that? Okay. I can't have sound, so. Well, how long is this? 3 minutes. That's not bad. Oh boy, that's crushed. That's 1080p too. Wow. Okay. Compression. I have pretty good internet too, so I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Looks so good. Look how good that looks. I said that. I said Halo Infinite's environment looks like hot trash garbage. I said that. I was like, the trees look stupid, the ground looks stupid, the grass looks stupid. The lighting is okay. But I'm like, yo, I like the Warthog. The Warthog looks okay. But it's the environment. And that's the problem. I'm like, what are y'all doing? They're like, oh, we want to look like old Halo, the original Halo CE classic. I'm like, y'all better make that look better. What's wrong with y'all? Look at that. Even that Warthog looks better. So I'm like, there's no excuse. The rocks look better. Yeah, they messed up big time. I ain't capping for that, yo. But you know what? Those far away rocks don't look so bad. But those pine trees, whatever they're, hot garbage. Put different trees. Put better trees. Better trees. Lighting's off. It's all bad. But I mean, that's the thing though. The Halo 4 doesn't have dynamic lighting. It doesn't. The time of day doesn't change, so they can have static. They can bake the lighting, so it will look better because they can bake it in, and it takes less like graphical resources. But in Halo Infinite, everything's dynamic, so they can't bake any of the lighting. You know, so that's one of the problems. I think they could have done better with the textures. Everything was so kind of clean. You know, give us a little bit of little worn stuff. Look at the ground; it just looks. And the grass is. You know what? I think what they were banking on was ray tracing. Because ray tracing will definitely make it look closer to like the Halo 4 kind of lighting and kind of not reactive, but just how the light plays. Actually, if you notice that, the light from the gun isn't showing up on the gun itself either. There. And that his not Atriox, but it wasn't horrible, but I think the quality of his texture. You know what it was? I said this before. It wasn't the quality of the texture. It was the depth of field they used on the camera. Like his nose and all this soft stuff is out of focus. But then his teeth were in focus, but this is in focus. His eyes are in focus, but everything else is out of focus. They messed up with the depth of field. The f-stop was too shallow, and they needed a wider range of focus on it so that his whole face can be in focus, so that it didn't look like the textures were low res. That's what it looks like because of the soft focus. That happens to me when I'm rendering stuff. See right here, look how sharp his teeth are. I'm like, yo, his teeth are mad sharp, and the lip that's right next to his teeth all blurry. I'm like, what are you doing? Come on, what are you doing? And like the animation is fine. It's not super horrible. And if that's like in game, that's real good. That's really good too. But if you look at this is actually lower. It's a lower res quality than, I was gonna call him Atriox. I keep saying it. I forgot his name. And this whole freaking Forerunner stuff is so weird. Legend says, why the hell did they think a grappling hook would sell us on next gen Halo? Come on, Xbox. Yeah, I mean, I like the grappling hook edition. I think it helps the game, but it's not. Yeah, you can't. It's not gonna do it. Opti says, please stop making excuses. Not an excuse. I'm trying to be real. One thing I will say about Halo Infinite that I like about Halo Infinite more than Halo 4 is that I do appreciate the original armor flavor that they like Master Chief inside the Pelican when he's talking to the pilot. He looked good. I was like, oh, all right. If the game looks like this, cool. And then he goes outside and it's like, wah, wah. It's like, it's like, you know, broken recorder Jurassic Park sounding. I'm like, yo, this is whack. Like, because like I said, I was playing Halo 5 Guardians, which is the same. They use the same armor set in Halo 4 and Halo 5, I believe. And I was looking at it and I was like, they went too far with the armor. It's just too busy. You know, it looks kind of cool, but it's like, nah, it's not. You don't need to go that crazy with it. And that's what they did. And I'm like, see right there. It's the same armor. And, you know, like, oh, this is all texturing. It's not, you know, it's no really dynamic lighting or anything like that. No ray tracing. At least I don't think. But this is a cinematic, so they could have added ray tracing. Because it is cinematic. But, and it is, you know, I don't believe it's 4K. But it's not, yeah, they went too far. And, I mean, I guess I understand the methodology. It's like, yeah, this is the new Halo. We're trying to make them, we're trying to update them, you know what I mean? But I was like, nah. So I don't have a problem with, oh, let's go here. Oh, is that the one we just watched? No, it's a different one. I don't have a problem with the Halo Infinite Master Chief, but like I said, it's certain things about what they showed make it look bad, right? So like right here, this doesn't look too bad, although that tree, and this right here doesn't look too bad either, right? I'm like, oh, this is all right. It's a little barely of a downgrade from the original trailer, but like for in-game kind of cinematic, I'm like, oh, all right, that's all right. Legend says the old Halo video with him inside the ship was just target render. That wasn't even the real game. I'm trying to pull the... Well, no, I understand that, but what they showed... No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what they showed in the new Halo Infinite stuff, like before he actually got out into the world and went first person. How he looked when he was talking to the pilot and they were like going around him. Like right here. He looks like... You look at that. That's not bad. I'm looking at that. I was like, oh, okay. I don't like his voice, though. He looks like Oscar Isaac, like right there. You telling me that doesn't look bad? Like, and I like that design better because it's a little bit like back to the classic. Even though I don't care, but the other one was too busy. It took away from, yo, this is Master Chief, right? The other one was like, oh, he just looks like one of the other Spartans except he's green. And Fred is blue, and homegirl is white, and the other girl, what was she, red or something? It's raining like crazy outside right now, so if my stuff goes out, that's why. But I'm saying, like, look at that. That looks good. And I don't know if that's in-game. I don't know. See, and that's the thing, right? If it's in-game, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they went from, because this is all in one shot. There's no cuts in this whole demo. It starts here. They talk. The camera goes around, and then he walks out. There's no cuts. And I'm like, look at that. You can't tell me that don't look good. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you this right now. You see like this little worn off paint on his helmet, on his shoulder, a little back, and on his chest and stuff. When he pulls out the gun, it looks spankety spank new. I'm like, what are y'all doing? How come his arm is all jacked up, but his gun is crystal spankety spank? He just got it from the gun store or something. He just went to Walmart and got a new rifle. Come on, son. That's the thing. I'm like, yo, they weren't ready. It wasn't baked. It wasn't ready. So, it's like this. This is a whole... I think this is in game because if you look at... I don't know. It's hard to tell. And it is a lower lower quality than the first demo, the first trailer, excuse me. But there should be telltale, like if you look at the shadows, see, this is not in game. This is pre-rendered like blur cinematics, which looks dope, but that's CG. Yes, basically. So you can't really. So this is they're pulling the wool over your eyes because the game does not look like that. So the fact that they're doing this is like, and the fact that this looks better than Halo Infinite leads me to believe that the Halo Infinite stuff might be in game cinematic stuff, But then I look at Craig and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Nathan Fillion, I love Buck. Man, this game looked good, man. I was playing it on my X. I was like, yo, this is good, son. It's like right now, this is all compressed and it looks all blocky and garbage. But look at that. Look how crispy that is, son. That's mad crispy. And that looks good. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if everything looked like that, if the level of quality was Master Chief's armor, I don't think there would be a problem. But that wasn't it. Apply that same, and that's my thing, right? You saw, oops. So he's here, right? I saw a little something. I saw something. So he wipes the camera. Oh, that's just the compression on it. So my thing is, all right. So we got frame by frame. So I don't understand how they did that, because unless it's in game, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to understand. Like I'm trying to figure out, because I do CG. I'm like, okay, I understand how stuff works, but if you're gonna, unless I don't know how they did it. It has to be in game, right? Like when he wipes across, maybe that was the end of the CG, and this is actual in game. But even if that's the case, look, that's in game. That looks good as hell. That's all I'm saying. So let's see if the wipe shows any type of tells as far as, oh, that was this thing is freaking. All right, let's try to. Okay. So wait, let's go back a few frames. Okay. So we see Master Chief there, right? And you see the lighting is different, right? Oh, well, they fade in. Okay, so that's different. So we can't really use that. So we can look at that. Boop, boop. He's going across the camera. And he wipes the whole screen. So, I don't know. I think that is in game. But I think that when he wiped across the screen, I think they transitioned from, if they used pre-rendered cutscenes, they transitioned from pre-rendered to in-game, and that's in-game. I mean, it has to be in order for them to get the background and everything to line up. That yeah. Legend says, that's what I wanted to see when they have the showcase. That's what would have sold me on the X. I'm starting to get mad. Yeah, that's true. I agree with you 1,000,000,000%. But that right there, though, that looks good. And you see how it like when it panned, it felt like, oh, that's in game. And now look at the grass. I'm like, that's hot garbage. I mean, it's hard to see on here because it's super low fuzz. Trees are garbage. Cliffs, the birds are okay, but they're so far away. I don't know what those are. The muskrats. The grass is horrible. I mean, the grass, the rocks, the trees, the water. Honestly, the grunts, I don't care. The grunts are going to be grunts, whatever. But it really, for me, it was just the environment. I was like, what the hell? What am I watching? What am I looking at? It was just so bad. That looks cool. Like, if you would have just went up inside there, I'd be like, oh, okay. And then this clipping through a tree. I think it clipped through a tree. Right here, right there. I think it did, but I think I did frame by frame and it didn't actually clip through. Or it's just weird. And they saw that they should have been like, yeah, let's change that. The thing about Halo 5 is that The environments are so much not a Halo ring. It looks so cool because everything got all these different alien plants and stuff. It just looks cool. But Halo Infinite is like, oh, it's Halo. And I'm like, I mean, they can do that, but they can't go back to them first Halo CE graphics and make them higher res and expect. No, you got to make it look like the real world. You know what I'm saying? You got to make them trees look like real trees, not some old flat ass polygons. It's just bad. Okay, that grass is hot garbage too, so I ain't gonna lie. I ain't capping for that. That's bad. Maybe they just bad at grass. Maybe they need a chief grass artist on 343. 343, hire a grass artist, foliage specialist, chief senior chlorophyll specialist at 343. I am the senior cactus artist. I only do cactuses. Now Roger over there, he specializes in Venus flytraps. That's him. He does that. So he was the primary artist on the Gravemind on Halo 2. That was him. So that's why we have him. But now he's just doing the little baby ones, like the Little Shop of Horror. Ooh, look at that. That's is that a Guardian? I don't remember what those big things were. I can't remember. But I mean, you know, I look at this and I'm like, okay, this is linear. It's not open world, and there are limitations to how they did that game. Now, this game has the promise of a more open world. I think they should really get rid of the backwards compatible stuff and just make it Series X and Series S, and that would fix a whole bunch of things. If they do that, they're gonna have to delay it until at least November, which is the 20th anniversaries, which they should do. I believe they should do that. I would not have a problem with Halo coming out November 17th. I can't remember what the actual anniversary is, but you know, that's they need to do that. That's what they need to do. And I've heard people say it, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. Should it, you know, then I really have to buy a next gen console, right? But in this instance, when we're talking about Halo, the most important game that Microsoft has, yes, make it a next-gen only game. Yes. If you want to go down the line later and do a Xbox One version that is different, that doesn't take advantage of the... Yeah, you could do that, but don't do that first, or don't do it in tandem, or make another team do that. Have Splash Damage or whoever do that one. And then 343 and only 343 or whatever, concentrate on next gen Halo. And don't do this compromise stuff. And that's the problem with all the things that are coming out with on the PlayStation 5 right now, is because everything's cross gen. Only thing that like I said, they said, but right now they haven't admitted it, but I'm gonna say it's probably PlayStation 4 too, is Demon's Souls. Everything is cross gen. And that makes me mad, because first of all, I'm not gonna buy PlayStation because I could play all the stuff on PlayStation 4. What's the point? You know, really, I'm gonna get me a used PlayStation 4, and it's gonna sound like a Concorde, but that's okay, cause I'm gonna play the games. It's all good. You know, so that's where the PlayStation 5 is like, it's better, but is it leaps and bounds? I don't know, and I think the jury's still out. I think the jury's still out on that, and time will tell. We'll see how the PlayStation 5 actually ages, and how fast it'll age, and that's the thing. So, the will of Atriox. And the funny thing about the guy who did the facial capture for this guy, he doesn't. I mean, obviously, he doesn't look like him. That would be weird. It was like, but that's hard to do, you know. Okay, we're done with this. I think we're done. Yeah, that's it. What is this? Resident Evil? What is this playing here? Let's get out of here. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Sorry to make you mad, Legend, but you know, I'm mad too, because I'm mad, but also I'm glad that they didn't put out what they were gonna put out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you think about it, right? If they'd have put out Halo Infinite in the state that it was in, come on, that would have been worse. It would have been Master Chief Collection all over again. Broken, hot garbage, you know. Instead, they're doing what Sony usually does, which is delay until it's done. Delay until it's good. You know, all their first-party AAA games have been delayed. All of them. And it's good because when they come out, they're hot. So why would Microsoft, I know they're saying, oh, the budget's too, no. That's not, you can't do that right now. You gotta come up. You gotta be like, yo, we gotta make these games like go boom, bam, bam. Especially Halo. So Microsoft has a choice to make. They have to say, okay, we got games. We have certain games that are going to be AAA, quadruple A, whatever they want to call them. They need to give the studios time to make them the best that they can be. Period. If it takes 5-6 years to make a game, and I'm saying an actual 5-6 years, not like 3 years. You know, Halo Infinite has not been worked on for 5 years. Let me just tell you that, okay? Because they were working on Master Chief Collection for 1,000 million years. And still, they got the new guys in for Halo Infinite, so they're still working on it. So it's basically another reset. It's just a mess over there. I'm like, Legend says, if they were going to release it like that in that condition, I wouldn't have bought an Xbox. Exactly. They have the time. They have the time to develop a game and come strong. They just didn't. That's what makes me mad. How long ago was Halo? For that was a grip, yo. Yes, but like I said, it wasn't always. And I think they reset and they lost it. It's just been a troubled development actually. So you could say 5 years, which is technically true, but the current game has not been worked on 5 years. They changed a lot of stuff. They had changed the creative director beforehand, so. You know, I would give them 3 years, 2 to 3 years, but I'd say more like 3 years. And you think about that, it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that looks like a 3-year AAA game. Not really, but really. So, and the fact that the Xbox Series X isn't ready with all their stack and their API and stuff, which doesn't help. So there's a lot of reasons why Halo should have and needed to be delayed from the beginning, and the fact that they were trying to push it out was noble, but no, you know, we as gamers need to realize that a delayed game is better than a hot garbage game. So that's where I'm at. And besides, I got Cyberpunk to look forward to. I believe the medium was delayed until 2021. I don't think Cyberpunk has been delayed, so hopefully that's still coming out. But yeah, like I said, that's the only game I would be really thinking about and playing. I'll probably buy I'm debating whether I should buy the physical copy of that. Because if I do, then I can't play it on my Series S if I get a Series S. So, I don't know. Every time I'm like, oh man, I should just get a Series X and bring my 1X in here to stream. Then I look and I hear people talking about the Series S, and I'm like, oh man, it's like $300. I said it's kind of cheap, and it's a nice little cute little box, and it's dope, and I think I'm gonna ultimately wait. And Bridget say, hey, go buy an Xbox because it's your birthday, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I think I need to wait. So, I don't know, man. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. Legend, Opti, Billy OK, Butternut Squash, Bacon Butternut. What happened here? Huh. Does Facebook reset the... That's weird. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Oh, she wasn't in Facebook. She was in Discord. Anyway, I'm closing Facebook. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Once again, I am Electron Bandit. I gotta go to the other one. Appreciate you. Excuse me. Wow, that was like a little monster in my stomach. Everybody in all games. Alt, Binary 667, Damon, 1427, Doom Plague, GK 128, Hey Jude, High Fibre, Metal, Recon Elite, Warham, Watch Dragon, XC Freeze, and Zappy. Preesh, and bye-bye. Yeah, this week is next gen week. We're getting all our consoles and stuff, so it'll be cool. It'll be cool. I'm wondering. Thank you, Legend. Biden hashtag Biden 2020. True. Hey, I put on my USA. Now I'm not afraid to wear like an American flag shirt anymore because it's before it was like, oh, you one of them? Like, nope. So now I got my USA shirt on because I'm proud to be USA again. It's funny you hear like a bunch of foreign countries talking about welcome back USA. I was like, ouch. I think the president of France, prime minister of France, or somebody said that. I was like, ouch. That's wow. Anyway, we're not getting into that. Anyway, the thing is, a lot of people. I've seen a lot of smiling people in the past couple of days, so it's been good. Legend says no Xbox for me. Maybe next year. Yeah, me too. I think I will wait. Although I think I'm gonna walk into a Best Buy on Tuesday, which is my birthday, and I want to see if they actually have them on shelves. If they do, I might pick up an S. But I feel like, for some reason, I feel like I'm not wasting money, but I'm prematurely buying it because if I look at like this generation as an example, they came out with the OG, then they came out with the 1S and the 1X. And then I bought the OG and then I bought the X, and I'm like, wow, that's like, that's $500 a piece. So I don't want to repeat the same thing this gen coming up. So I'm like, that's why I was like, I'm gonna get an S and wait a couple of years, and then when they come with the Super Xbox Series XL or Double X or whatever, then I'll get that. Because that'll be Zen 3 and all that Ryzen 3, RDNA 3 and Zen 3. Because that stuff is just about to jump off right now on the PC side. So I'm like, oh, so if it jumps off like next year, the new Ryzen stuff, Zen 3 and RDNA 3, if that stuff jumps off like next year and the next year after that, then the consoles are soon coming after that. The mid-gens. I believe that the consoles will follow whatever AMD is doing in the hardware space, because they want, especially Xbox, because they want to have the strongest. But I would say Sony's going to do that faster, maybe first even, because the PlayStation 5 is so, I don't want to say underpowered, but it kind of is. It's kind of a little bit of a half step. If you want to look at it for real, specs wise, it kind of is. So they have more of an incentive to upgrade faster than Xbox because of the power difference. So that's where my mind is at. It's like, I don't want to spend $500 and then 2 years later spend another $500 because all the new stuff is coming out. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I could just rock with a little S, Series S, and be like, this is good enough, and I'll just stream with it or whatever, and I'll be good. So I don't know, but if they do Halo Infinite and not on Xbox One, then I'm definitely getting a Series X or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think I need to see. I think I need to wait. Also, I don't have a TV to take fully advantage of the Series X. I don't have a 2.1. I have a 2.0. So that's another thing. So I'm not getting a TV anytime soon. So that's another thing to consider. But all right, Legend, go ahead and get an Xbox Series S and stuff fooling around. You won't be disappointed. Series S, sorry. Yeah, I know. I won't be disappointed in Series S. It's just I'm wondering when the upgrades are gonna come and what they're gonna be, what they're gonna look like, And that's where, and honestly, if I get a Series X, I think I want to get a custom one this time. Like how they have, like I've been watching Xbox Pope. I don't know, he's on Twitter. Dude, he does like the best freaking custom console designs. It's so dope. He did a Borderlands one. I think they're actually making for the Series X, and I was like, yo, that's hot. Even though I don't like Borderlands, I was like, yo, this fool. He did the PS5 too. I was like, yo, this fool needs to be hired by somebody, or he needs to I don't know, cause he just does it. I don't know if he just does it for fun or if he gets paid. He needs to be like, yo, Sony, you want? I could design. Yo, let's go. I'm telling you, man, he's so hot. Xbox Pope on Twitter. Check him out. He's, you know, I don't know. But anyway, I'm out. Let me play the song again. It's not playing. Appreciate. Let me press the button. Tilt the weight, y'all.